So I'm in Tampa, Florida, and it's rush hour, and I'm hoping to get through this video before it gets too dark because we're starting to lose the light. Turn on this road. There's tons of traffic here, and what I'm going to do on this video, I didn't have time to get too far into town because it's already starting to get dark out. I'm going to drive through the 3 of the most dangerous neighborhoods. The first one's going to be East Ybor, and that one has a violent crime that's 560% worse than the national average. I believe it's the worst neighborhood in Tampa. The population there is 50% black, 26% Hispanic, and 9% Asian. So it's a fairly diverse neighborhood. And it by far has the most, at least of the ones that I could tell, the worst violent crime of any neighborhood in the Tampa area. And that we're in that right now. It doesn't look too bad to look at it though. I'm gonna go up this road and just see what it looks like through here. And we're gonna go through 3 neighborhoods, and I'm gonna give you stats in general of the city. And we are turning to go east on 9th Street, or 9th Avenue, for those of you who like to know what road we were on. We're going east on 9th Avenue. And yeah, the houses here, that one, the roof on the right, that one, the roof is like caving down in. But, all right, so this is the first of 3, and I'm going to give you stats of the city. The population in Tampa, is about 408,000 people. Let's go up one more block. And it's rising at like around 2% a year. So it's rising pretty quickly. And overall, the whole city is 44% white, 23% Hispanic, 18% black, and 4% Asian. And all three of these neighborhoods we're going to go through are pretty close to each other. They're kind of next to each other. I'm hoping that the distance between them isn't too far, so that this video doesn't end up being too long. But I want to drive through all the 3 worst, hopefully, before it gets dark. The average age here in Tampa as a whole is 35. Well, this area definitely, it looks lower income. It doesn't look like horribly bad. The houses are a lot of run down, but I've seen way worse. And actually, as sad as it sounds, saying that the violent crime is 560% worse than the national average, as far as cities go these days, a neighborhood at that is not even close to one of the worst neighborhoods in America. It's bad, but it's nowhere near like one of the worst. I mean, that's East Ybor Park right across the street from us. Now you got to be up by 1,000 to be 1,000 times worse than the national average to be one of the worst neighborhoods in America, or higher even. You go to Milwaukee, there's a bunch of them that are higher than 1,000. Minneapolis had a bunch that were right around 1,000. And we're already starting to lose the light. It should be up, it's just a cloudy day. It should still be up. It's just a cloudy day, so we're losing it faster than we would normally. There's a 50% home ownership rate, which is 22% lower than the national average. And I personally consider anything that's at least 50% to be pretty good, because you want at least half the people that live there to have a stake in the city and have you know, at least somewhat care about it. And when you own a house there, you're going to care more about it than if you're a renter. You know, you'll be more apt to pick up litter in your yard if you're a homeowner than you are if you're a renter. And the average income in Tampa is around $48,000. Yeah, there's like junk all over the side of the road here. Like, just, you can tell this isn't one of the better areas. There's junk everywhere, garbage, and just like old things that people have discarded, just laying on the side of the road. We're gonna get stuck behind a school bus. There's a 17% poverty rate, which is, it sounds high, but it's fairly typical of a larger city. It's kind of just what the cities are these days, you know, good or bad. It's just how they are. There's a 38% marriage rate, which is a little on the low side. I hope this bus doesn't start stopping every block or something. Oh, he's behind a person on an electric bike or something. So 42% of the people that live here were either born in Tampa or we're turning onto North 33rd Street. They were either born, 42% were either born in Tampa itself or in the state of Florida. 18% of the people that live here are foreign born, and 9% are considered non-citizens. They have about 40 murders a year, which gives them a murder rate around 11, which in my opinion for a city of its size is pretty good. I consider a murder rate around 10 to be just regular city bad. So as far as homicides go, at least here, they're right at regular city bad. This is, you expect a certain level in America of homicides and stuff that you're going to have to deal with, and the city as a whole falls into that category. I don't know about this neighborhood specifically. I didn't break down the homicides per neighborhood to see, you know, but this is, I imagine a good percentage of those came from this neighborhood. I'm not seeing a whole lot of graffiti though, so that's a good thing. The assault rates here are in Tampa as a whole are 300 to 400 per 100,000 people, and that's, you know, maybe regular city bad, maybe worse than regular city bad. A city like Chicago would be about 550, so they're in the 300s, 400s. It's better than Chicago. It's not necessarily what I'd say good, but it's better than like a city like Chicago, which, you know, Chicago's not necessarily good either. The theft rates are in the 900 to 1200 per 100,000 people. That I guess that would kind of fall into the regular city bad. And I believe we're still in that same East Ybor neighborhood, although we're getting pretty close to the Highland Pines neighborhood. At some point we're going to be switching into the Highland Pines neighborhood, and yeah, we're really losing the light fast. Hopefully this GoPro's the picking up the switch into its night vision for me, so that this turns out okay for you guys. The violent crime in the city as a whole is only 34% worse than the national average. And the funny thing about Tampa is one of the few large cities or few cities altogether in the state of Florida that actually report their crime data to the FBI. And I think the only reason they do it is their crime numbers are not bad. A lot of the cities in Florida, like Miami and that, they submitted it to Opelika, Florida City, the bad cities. They submitted all the way up until 2020, 2019, and then they just stopped, and they haven't done it since then. But Tampa continued to do it, so I'm assuming that's because the numbers here are still good. Regular city bad, these are regular city numbers here. It's I'm not saying it's good. You move here, I'm not saying the numbers are good, but it's regular city bad. It's stuff you're going to expect to see if you live in city limits, and most of it's going to occur, for the most part, in these 3 neighborhoods we're going to drive through. We're just a few, we're either, maybe, I think probably we cross this road, we end up in the Highland Pines neighborhood, which is 441% worse than the national average, their violent crime. 441% worse. So slightly better than that East Ybor was, but it's still bad. And this neighborhood is 63% black and 26% Hispanic. And we're driving through it right now. I'm using my best guess. We're in it right now. But so far it doesn't look too bad. These roads don't look, none of these look like they go through, so I'm not gonna turn on. Okay, the GoPro cut out, which it does. If you watch my videos, you know it does that all the time. These GoPros are notorious for heating up and then they just stop working. So this is the Highland Pines neighborhood. This road goes through, that's why I'm driving down it. Those other ones just kind of did a loop, and I didn't want to get stuck back in any of them because we're starting to lose the light now. And this doesn't look as run down as the other one did. The houses actually look quite a bit nicer than that other one did, at least so far. Well, maybe once we cross this other side, because the other side looks like it's a little not as nice. Dead end. Yeah, I don't want to get caught on any of these roads in the dark that I don't know that are, if this neighborhood really is as bad as the stats say it is. The houses definitely are an upgrade from over there in the East Ybor, but there's still a lot of litter here. This guy's, what's he hauling? I couldn't see what he was hauling on that little lark or whatever it's called. So your odds of becoming a victim of a crime in Tampa is 1 in 47, which is actually kind of good for a city of this size. The year-over-year crime is showing an increase of 15% though, so even though they got it tapped down pretty good, the crime is increasing. And as long as they get a handle on that, that's fine if they have one spike year. But if you have multiple spike years and it gets to a point where you can't, yeah, it looks really icky up that way. I'm not going up that road. If it gets to a point where you can't get it under control, that's when you start having problems. But the schools here, well, quick, we're about to head into the third neighborhood that we're going through, which is the Grant Park neighborhood. And the Grant Park neighborhood is 200, it's getting dark, I can't read what I wrote there, 265% worse than the national average. That's this area. So it's the best of the 3, but it's still really bad. Anything over around 100% worse gets worse than regular city bad. The 200 to 300 starts getting into that iffy. Yeah, this is really, really, oh, maybe the Grant Park starts on the other side of this road. That really, lot of litter on the side of the road over there. That was still probably the Highland Pines. This is probably the Grant Park once we cross here. But the Grant Park is 60% black and 26% Hispanic. And we're in it now for sure, now that we crossed the road. But the schools here in Tampa graduate 49% of the students proficient at reading and math, which is really good. The state of Florida is 55%. The state of Florida is of the better states as far as their kids graduating at a 12th grade level for reading and math. The U.S. average Yeah, there's a lot of litter. I don't know if the camera's picking up all the litter because it's probably getting dark. But there's a lot of litter in these areas. That's another way you can tell if it's a good or a bad area, just by the amount of litter. I haven't seen any homeless people that I knew were homeless. But I haven't seen any graffiti at all. But we're not on a main road. We're just by the houses mostly. That little kitty cat. But the schools here are doing better than the national average, because the national average, okay, I don't know if I want to go up that road. There's a lot of people just hanging out up there, that tow truck. I'm going to turn here. I don't know if I want to go up that. There's way too many people just hanging out on that road. If it wasn't dark, I'd maybe go up there, but I'm not going up there in the dark. I'm not one of those guys that go down into the hood and they're like, you know, just hanging out in it. I just like to go through and film, get in and get out. Yeah, a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage. So the schools anyway are doing halfway decent. 84% of the people that live in Tampa have completed the 8th grade, and 83% have completed high school. 35% have a bachelor's degree or better, which is, you know, pretty good actually. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna avoid the roads that have the people on them. So the schools are doing better than most schools in America at teaching the kids. So that's a positive sign for the city going forward. A lot of these cities, the schools, they're, you know, maybe a third of the kids or less are graduating with a 12th grade education for as far as reading and math goes. And when it's that low, there's no hope for the city. But this is at 50%. You got 85% of the, or 84, whatever it was, completed 8th grade, 83% completed high school. So they're, you know, that's not a good number necessarily, but it's pretty much what we're at right now in America. I have lowered my standard as far as what is considered good, so low that I really hope things start getting better, because when you think, oh, hey, almost half of the kids graduated at a 12th grade level for reading and math in this city. That's so good. When that's what you're thinking, because that is considered good in America nowadays, the standard has gotten really low. Because only 48% nationally will graduate being able to read and do math at a 12th grade level. And that it's horrible, but that's just the way it is. So those were 3 of the worst neighborhoods, and that was the south part. It's mostly the south part of town seemed to be the worst areas, south of downtown. And that seemed to be the worst, and we're really losing the light now. And I made it through all them without the sun going down on me, even though with the clouds it looks like it's already down. The sun's still kind of up. But I'm gonna leave this video at that. Record just for a little bit longer, see if I see something on the side of the road that, you know, looks interesting. But we went through 3 of the worst neighborhoods that bring the crime rate down. But overall, what is this guy doing? You probably couldn't see that on this person was just tripping. He was tripping. Overall, as a city as a whole, Tampa is it's like just regular city bad. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just, you know, right there. It's like a regular city. Population's rising, so hopefully they keep the crime in check, because when the population goes up and you're not checking, you know, bringing the crime rate down, it can blow out of proportion really fast. But I'm gonna cut this off here, and hope you enjoyed this drive through Tampa, Florida. Thanks for watching.